Hello and welcome to Frog Park. My name is Theresa Nelson and I'm the co-founder of Frog Park. I wanted to give you a little bit of history about the park before your tour with our Frog Committee tour guides on Tuesday. Frog Park today, Sunday, is very busy with families, birthday parties, folks walking from the farmers market. But 20 years ago, this was a pretty bare spot next to the freeway with weeds that were nearly shoulder height. The story of how we transformed this area into a community park that's used by hundreds of people a day is really an important part of why the park is so beloved today. We started this effort back in 1992 when I was a young parent hoping for a place to take my young daughter to play that was within walking distance. Instead, we had to drive to distant parks. After working with some parents, we started one park in Colby area, but it was for very small children. By the time we finished that project and learned a lot about Oakland politics and organizing, my own daughter was too old to play on the structure. So the search continued, and we built a new community library. Thought we might put a play structure near that, but there was simply not space. So we began to look at other areas, particularly areas that were not used by the community. This area to my left is formerly part of the Alameda County Flood Control District area that was fenced off from the community and there was no access. Some of our community members worked on a master plan to say, why don't we use this space and another space further down that you'll see soon, make a green belt, anchor it with play structures so people will have a reason to walk from one end to the other. Many people thought this was a great idea, not everybody, so we spent about 2 years tugging of war and fighting about it until finally we came to agreement on this new concept. When we started to work on the budget, however, we realized that the amount of money that we had that we'd raised from the community, nearly $500,000, as well as $1.5 million from various public sources, was simply not going to be enough to build a really good park. So we scaled it back. We did one phase and then the next phase in 2006. But in the first phase, we did the thing that was the most important for community organizing, and that is these beautiful structures behind us. This is the large one, what we call Big Frog, that has an area for small children that you'll see and an area for older children. At the other end of the park, there is what we call Little Frog, that is a similar play structure that's only for young children ages 2 to 5. What makes this play structure so unique is that, first of all, it is like none other in the world. It was designed in collaboration with Robert Leathers and Associates from Ithaca, New York, and they worked with the community to develop a design that met our community needs, met the very difficult constraints of this space, and responded to our desire to be deeply involved with Temescal Creek, which runs through the park. So they came up with a creek-oriented park that's filled with cutouts of animals, owls, raccoons, salamanders, and all sorts of things that inhabit the pond and the creek. The park itself, or the play structures themselves, were actually built by over 1,300 volunteers from the community over the course of 10 days in October 2001. This was less than a month after the September 11th disasters, and I think a lot of people wanted to do something that was important for the community. So people would take the day off work or the week off work and come to work for 6, 8, 10, 12 hours a day. We started at 8 o'clock in the morning. We worked till 8 or 10 at night with lights. We had staging areas for the tools and the materials, and this area rose from bare ground with a concrete curb to the beautiful multi-level structure that you see today that is, again, customized to this particular location and to the needs of the community. One of the best parts of the approach of Robert Leathers and Associates is that they require the community to really come together, not only for the design, but for fundraising, for marketing, for reaching out to those 1,300 volunteers, for feeding those 1,300 volunteers. One day we had almost 400 volunteers here on site at a time. So feeding everyone, and then we had to take care of their children. Many of the people who got involved in this project had young children, couldn't leave them all day, so we had a child care facility off-site. So truly, everyone pitched in. Businesses up and down College Avenue and Telegraph Avenue provided food and refreshments, and it was a really exciting time to see people come together to create something together that was for the greater good of the community. So a lot of the park was built then, but not all of it, and some of what you'll see today, particularly from Clifton to Cavour, the basketball courts, the swings, were added in 2006 when we were able to raise more money for the next phase. Thereafter, we still had one or two more projects to do. The first was a bathroom, which you'll see nearby here, that was opened in 2011. And our final project, we hope, is going to be a series of park enhancements that will include more swings and some play structure, play materials that will be available to children with disabilities. So that's what we're raising money for right now. We're about $3,000 away from our goal, and we hope to begin that project rather soon. So the part of the reason for building the swings that I'm looking at right now is that I can see there are about 6 children waiting in line for the swing. So we have a real demand for the swings, and this is what we thought was the best way to help meet that response. So again, welcome to Frog Park. I hope that you enjoy your tour today. You're going to have an interesting time seeing a park that is filled into a variety of urban spaces, both large and small, and truly responds to the needs and the interests of the community, built by the community, for the community, and we're very proud of it. Thank you for coming today. Bye now.